Hello, this is a repair of the breach, checking in from a long hiatus. When the virus hit, my business just blew up, and we were so busy and understaffed, um, which goes to show, like for instance, the Book of Enoch 1:1. These are the words of the blessed Enoch, according to which he blessed the chosen and righteous who must be present on the day of distress, which is appointed for the removal of the wicked and impious. And Enoch began his story and said, there is a righteous man whose eyes were opened by the Lord, and he saw a holy vision in the heavens, which was the angels showed to me. And I heard everything from them, and I understood what I saw, but not for this generation, but for a distant generation. And I believe this book of Enoch is for the people right now. That's why this book was preserved, Concerning the chosen I spoke, and I uttered a parable concerning them. The holy and great one will come out of his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon Mount Sinai. It's like the eternal God is going to set foot on Mount Sinai, and we know who that is. That's the Christ. And he will peer with his host, and will peer in the strength of his power from heaven. And I also heard another text that he's actually going to set foot on the dome of the earth. That's another story here. Let's see. And all will be afraid, and the watchers will shake. That's the fallen angels who are stuck here on earth. And fear and great trembling will seize them up to the ends of the earth. And the high mountains will be shaken. So we're talking about a global earthquake. And the high hills will be laid low and will melt like wax and flame. And the earth will sink. Everything that is on the earth will be destroyed, and there will be judgment upon all, and upon all the righteous. But here we go. This is chapter 1, verse 8. But for the righteous, he will make peace, and he will keep safe the chosen, and mercy will be upon them, and they will belong to God, and will prosper, and be blessed, and the light of God will shine on them. So during this tribulation, before Christ returns, we see that the righteous are there's gonna be they're gonna prosper and have peace. God's gonna make peace with them. So, which is contrary to your whatever you want to call it, your mainstream Christianity, which they think they're gonna get taken out of here, before the tribulation happens. Okay, so I just wanted to say that, you know, my business blew up when the virus hit. Didn't have time to make videos, and that was, to me, it was like, okay, Lord, it's like, provide for your family, um, and that's what I did. It seemed like the Lord was talking to me, telling me, provide for your family, like don't make videos, So that's what I did. So we worked the business. Had to take a couple vacations. It was just, it was our business was busier than it was probably in 2008. That busy, and back then in 2008 we had 3 or 4 extra employees, which we didn't have. So, needless to say, he blessed us, and for other reasons, I believe the tribulation's getting ready to set off here. Um, Either it has started or there's gonna be an event and it's gonna start here pretty soon. Uh, that's just my belief. So I'm gonna be uploading some some people that I watch on YouTube, and I hope they're okay with it. If there is a problem, just let me know. I'll take it down. But I know, as far as like Skiba, he says upload everything. Upload all this stuff because they keep taking this stuff down. Also, after this year, I went to my YouTube and all my subscriptions were erased. So it took me some time going back trying to figure out, all the different people I used to watch. Another bit of news is Jeff Censored passed away, and he was a guy that I watched. He was exposing a lot of stuff, a Canadian guy, and he mysteriously disappears. Another guy I watch is Robert Farrell, Apocrypha 1970. He's doing voice narrations of ancient texts. Basically, the Robert Farrell narratives of Apocrypha and extra biblical texts is really amazing, deep information. I mean, you have to, cipher it out for yourself. I believe a lot of it, if not all of it, is scripture. When I sit there and listen to it and I hear, the canon all through it, I mean, whether it's been changed or not, I mean, you have to take that up, to the Lord. It kind of it sheds light, opens up the stories, and also shares other detail. I know in the New Testament it did say, John 21:25, Jesus did many other things as well. The whole world would not have room for the books that would be written. So I want to bring up 2 points with this verse. First point is, I don't have a problem reading and accepting, ancient scripture that is not in the canon as scripture, because it says right here, there's so much stuff he did. I mean, in my study of the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's parchment there that was written on over like 5-6 times. They would scrub and then rewrite, scrub, rewrite, and some of the science they're doing now with X-rays and stuff is they're reading stuff that was erased, 5-6 times ago. So I know a lot of the stuff that was scrubbed off was like stuff from Homer, and that's actually how they're finding that the Homer stuff is. I don't know that that's. I'm not saying that's scripture. I'm just saying that's where they're finding some of that is because it was scrubbed off and then scripture was written over it. So we know they had a limited amount of parchment, but this verse actually says room in the world. And people who say, oh, you're not supposed to take the Bible literal. This is one of their verses they bring up, along with the verse that says, we're just a mist. Well, I believe we really are just a mist. We're made up of, 95% water. So, I mean, I think that's literal as well. But this one here says the whole world would not have room. Well, you don't just set books outside. They would get ruined in the rain and the weather, So books go in libraries, or people trade books. You have one book at a time. I mean, you're a person, was so blessed just to get a book in the age where this was written. You would get a book and have so much time to read it, and then you'd trade it, to your congregation or to your friend, and they would probably, give you another book. People didn't have books in their house. There was libraries that you would check books out of. So I think this verse can be taken literal, because you don't just just stack books up to the sky. They'd be ruined. I mean, books. It was a book. To have a book was like a very serious thing. Like only the really blessed people were able to have a book. Also in the Dead Sea Scrolls research, I went to the big exhibit. It was in my hometown, and I went there every day. I had the season pass, and they actually they would get a piece of like soapstone, and they'd carve it into a cube. This is people who couldn't afford parchment, and then they'd write and they'd engrave on that cube, and a lot of that stuff is still being dug up, and and just like, so you'd have this little rock cube in your pocket, and you can pick it up and read scripture, time and again, memory verses you're working on and stuff. So that was and then you could pass that on to your friend and make another one, or trade it with people of scripture that you knew, because a lot of people couldn't have paper or parchment. That statement I believe is a literal statement that if everything Jesus did was written down, it would fill all the books of the world. So, and as Robert was saying, I don't see any problem looking at these extra canon texts. I mean, if everything he did couldn't even been written down on, what's the problem with looking at this stuff? So basically, like Robert was saying, there's not a Christianity, there's Christianities. All the different groups have a canon, and they have different books in it. So, these people who want to say that, the Catholic Church, if you go to Wikipedia, the Catholic Church claims to be the foundation of Christianity, but we know the Assyrians and the Ethiopian church is older than that. But yeah, talking about Christianities, the Ethiopian church has the Book of Enoch in their canon. And then actually the American Christian church used to have the Apocrypha in the King James 1611, and it was removed. So basically, that's what we've been doing, taking care of business, um, being blessed by the Most High God. I am the I am. Testing the Spirit, studying Scripture, and now we're hoping to be back to make some more videos. Thank you.